episode 12, Stars and or Stripe. Second to last. Next week is the season finale. So this episode starts because when we left the last episode, Icicle had his doomsday. He had the doomsday clock running, and they were counting down to when Brainwave was going to take over the world and control everyone's mind. So, but Icicle and Brainwave also had the conversation where they were saying we got to get rid of Pat and like the mini JSA. And he was just like, yo, kill them all, like kill everybody, kill Pat, kill his dog, like kill his son Mike, kill everybody. So so now Pat and Barbara or whatever, like they're basically trying to like get out of there because now they know that they're being targeted. Pat brings Mike to the shop, to the car garage, and he was about to tell Mike every single thing that was happening. He was about to tell him about his work with the JSA. He was about to tell him about the robot, about Courtney being Stargirl, because Mike was just like, oh yeah, you don't tell me nothing, man, you don't tell me nothing. And then so he was going to tell him, but because Mike wouldn't shut up, like Pat got upset. And then for the first time all season, he yelled at him, and he was just like, yo, I'm your dad, you're gonna listen, you're gonna shut your mouth. And I was just like, Pat, it's about goddamn time. Because like that kid needs some discipline, and like the whole like passive thing was just like, it was starting to get on my damn nerves. So he yelled at him. Mike got mad. He's like, you can trust me, Dad. I'm your dad. I'm your son. And then he got mad and he walked out the room. As soon as he walked out of the room, then all of a sudden, Sportsmaster showed up, and he was just like, because remember, like like in the beginning, Sportsmaster was the guy that owned the gym and was like, you got to get pumped and this, that, and the third. So him and Pat are talking, and he's just like, hey, what are you doing here in my shop so late? And then he was just like, yeah, let's just stop the bullshit. He's like, I'm Sportsmaster, you're Starman sidekick, and I've come here to kick yo behind. And he's like, and then he was like, yo, where's the robot? He's like, I want to know where the robot is. And then the two of them get into a fight. And I got to give Pat some respect. Pat got his ass beat by Sportsmaster. Pat definitely got his ass beat, but he put some respect on his name. And then and then like towards the end of the fight, they fought so much to the point where they ended up fighting into the next room, and then Sportsmaster saw the robot. And then, when he took his baseball bat and he was about to knock Pat's lights out once and for all, then Mike came back in. He took like the drill gun that Pat had laying around. He actually drilled it into Sportsmaster's side. And, Sportsmaster was down, and then Pat hit him with a pipe and knocked him out. And then Mike saw the robot, and then he was like, yo, when are you going to teach me how to drive that thing? And Pat was like, never. And so back at the house, Courtney and Barbara, they're trying to pack up and trying to get all their stuff out. And then Tigress shows up. Tigress immediately went after Barbara. She attacked Barbara. Courtney came in. She started fighting the staff. It was basically a 3-on-1 fight. It was Barbara, Courtney, and the staff versus Tigress. And people have to remember, like, Courtney can't fight. Like, Courtney knows gymnastics. She's very athletic. But Courtney actually doesn't have fighting skill. She needs the staff in order to fight. So the staff was basically doing double work trying to keep Tigress from killing both Courtney and Barbara. Barbara got her hands on the staff for a little bit, so that was kind of cool. She got to see Courtney in action, and she's like, oh my god, that's my daughter, she's so badass or whatever. And then the two of them, like the three of them, the staff included, managed to fight Tigress, and they blasted homegirl right out right out of the house. So Tigress was down for the count. So then after that, so now they're just like, all right, let's get everybody together, and we're going to find some old abandoned cabin out in the woods. We're going to hide out in the cabin. Yolanda was there, Rick was there, Beth was there, even the Shining Knight showed up, the robot was there. Everybody was at this cabin, and now they're trying to figure out what the next steps are. Back at the house, Sportsmaster ended up showing up. He went to the house, to go get his wife. Him and his wife were talking, and then Mrs. Fiddle showed up because earlier in the episode, the principal, we'll just call her Mrs. Fiddle, she went into her office, and then her son was in her office, and then she asked her son, she was like, why are you at my office so late? Because apparently like her son plays the tuba or some sort of horn, and then he was just like, some kids were making fun of me, because I played this instrument. And then she was just like, and then at that point, and and I really like this because I wanted to get to know the principal. Like, I wanted to get to know like who she was as a character, like what happened to the dad, like did he die? How did she become the fiddler? after the dad's disappearance. Did she kill the dad? Like I actually wanted to know a lot about this woman's backstory, and I thought that we were definitely gonna get it. So I was excited. And she told her son, she was just like, your dad played the fiddle when he was your age, and kids used to tease him for playing the fiddle too. And you want to know when the kid stopped teasing him? The day that he took the fiddle and he jammed it in someone's throat, like killed him. That was the she was like that's the day I fell in love with him. And he's just, and she was just like, your father. He's like, your father was just like you, but he didn't take no shit. And then that's when the son was just like, yeah, yeah, like I'm gonna be just like my pops. So I don't think the dad has superpowers. I think it was the fiddle that had the superpowers, because there's no way that both the fiddler and Mrs. Fiddle, there's no way both of them are metas. So the fiddler, she ended up showing up at the house with Tigress and Sportsmaster. And then she was just like, look, Icicle told me to show up because you guys needed help. And then, they were both just like, well, we don't need no help. We got this. And she was like, y'all ain't got shit. She was like, you guys suck. Like, you're making a mess of everything. You're ruining the whole thing. She was just talking mad shit. And then she was just like, that's why your daughter Artemis is going to grow up, to be a horrible person because you guys are bad parents. And then one of them was just like, oh, are you trying to tell us that we're not good villains? And she was like, nah, you're just really shitty parents. And then Tigress got mad and shot the fiddler, Mrs. Fiddle, right in the chest. And they killed her. So I was just like, I was just getting to know you. And now she's gone. So, and then the two of them walked out. So they're gonna have to explain why they killed an ISA member. But when they left Mrs. Fiddle laid out on the ground, the camera zoomed in on the fiddle still in its case, sitting on the floor. So that just says to me that after they have the principal's funeral, they're going to give the fiddle to the son. The son is going to, end up discovering that the fiddle has powers, and then he's going to go out there, become a villain, and try to avenge his parents' name. So meanwhile, now we're back at the house, everybody's basically, like talking, doing what they got to do. Everybody except Yolanda, because she really wasn't doing anything. Barbara and Pat had a little conversation about where their marriage goes after this whole thing is over. And Rick was the main story in the whole cabin situation, because he's still trying to decipher his dad's code in the book that that Pat had given him. And then he said that he deciphered everything, but there's one little line that has a series of numbers that I need to figure out the final equation. So then Pat was just like, well, he was like, I tried birthdays. I tried my birthday, my mom's birthday. He was just like, then Pat was just like, bro, your dad, he said, like, your dad left you his car. Like, out of all the things in the world that your dad could have left you, he left you his 1966 Mustang, and you rebuilt the damn thing. And everybody was talking about how the car was your favorite. He was like, type in 1966 for the goddamn Mustang. And I'm like, I don't understand like how Rick didn't think of that sooner, but whatever. So he types in the numbers. He deciphers the code. Beth scans the code, and the code basically deciphered. It gave them the plans for the entire underground structure that the ISA was using to get all throughout the city. So they know. So now, like the JSA, they have all the tunnels. They know the ins. They know the outs. They know the machine that that the ISA was built. They know how the machine works, and they know that they're going to use the machine to try to take over the minds of everybody all over the world. So they're just like, all right, cool. So we got to destroy the machine and we got to stop them. So everybody split up into groups. Courtney and Pat went one way. Yolanda, Shining Knight, and Rick went another way. And then Beth and Barbara went back to Barbara's old job, because Beth said that she could access the computer and give them some support that way to maybe try to stop the machine. So while Barbara and and Beth were at the job, and Beth was getting into the computer doing her computer thing, the gambler shows up like live via satellite, like he showed up on a Zoom call and was basically, and this is why, like, in season 2, can we please get Beth can Beth get some martial arts lessons, because that girl, like, the fiddler wasn't even there in person, and Beth was scared out of her mind. Like, Beth was like scared shitless, and this dude wasn't even there. To the point where she had to take the goggles off, because him just talking trash was just like emotionally just like fucking with her. So then he said he ended up hacking in, and then like Chuck and Beth and the gambler, they were going back and forth. And then while they were in there, they but before the gambler showed up, Chuck and Beth had deduced through the information that the ISA's plans are, when they take over everyone's mind, they're going to remove world hunger. They're going to do affordable health care. they're gonna do equality, like they're gonna do justice for everybody. They're basically doing like a lot of good things to the point where Rick was just like, "Are we sure we're on the right side of this?" But then but the thing is, although their intentions are good, and although like they intend on making the world a better place, the means in which they're trying to get there is through murder and manipulation, taking away people's free will, taking away people's free choice. And that's wrong. Your heart's in the right place, but the thing is, they could still obtain their objective without forcing people, to be good people. And then they were just like anybody who then Beth also found out anyone who doesn't comply to the to the new world order is gonna die. And I think they said that was like over like 100 like million or billion people. So they're just like, listen, people are gonna unnecessarily die, and that's what we have to stop. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna stop it. So while everybody was trying to stop it, trying to stop the whole situation, the gambler, he was just like, haha. He's just like, haha. He was, because they had 30 minutes until the machine launched. And then the gambler was just like, first of all, it wasn't 30 you don't have 30 minutes to stop us. The brain manipulation starts at the 30-minute marker. So it's like, so this thing just started. But they said that, but the machine only works on fully developed brains. It doesn't work on brains that aren't fully developed. And I think your brain doesn't fully develop until you're like 22, 20, like between like 22 and 25 or whatever. So all the adults, they're the ones that conveniently, all the adults are the ones who are brainwashed, and the children are the ones who are immune to the brainwashing. So Barbara, she was in a trance. The Shining Knight was in a trance, and Pat was in a trance. But the funny thing is, the gambler said that we can also control them as well. So he ended up using his manipulation to tell Pat, because Pat was in the machine. He told Pat to attack Courtney. So now Beth, like Barbara's probably going to attack Beth. The Shining Knight's probably going to attack Wildcat and Hourman. And then and then obviously like what's his face is like Pat's going after Courtney. So and that's where the episode ended. And I thought it was a good episode. It was very it was a nice little cliffhanger, to see, because now basically the kids have to take on all the adults now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like, I don't really have any predictions per se on what's going to happen so far, but I believe that Icicle Jr. is going to help Courtney in the end stop his dad. So that was it. That was Stars and Stripe Part 1. We have Stars and Stripe Part 2, the season finale of Stargirl. Looking forward to it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the season finale. Let me know what you think is going to happen with most of the characters, especially Cindy, because she's still locked up, trying to get out and see where we go from here. Prediction though, whatever kids decide to become villains, they'll let Cindy out, and she's going to start the revolution for the evil people. So again, thank you for tuning in. This is episode 12, Stars and Stripes. I look forward to the season finale. Until next week, until next time, take care, guys. I'm your Stargirl, and I will say, bitch.